President Obama also these days facing lots of pressure, lots of questions over what kind of action or inaction there's been on the situation in Syria. And while the pace of fighting inside that country, inside of Syria today, is increasing, the diplomatic talks, many fear, may have ground to a halt. At the UN Security Council recently, Russia, China, both vetoed a Western resolution that called for tougher sanctions on Damascus. So let's talk about the latest here. Lori Handrahan is a professor at American University School of International Service. She's in Washington. Also set to be joining us here shortly, we will have Walter Dorn. He is Chair of Security and International Affairs at the Canadian Forces College. So, Walter, we see in studio sitting down. We'll get to him in just a moment. Lori, maybe I can start with you. Just sure. What do you make of where we are here? A lot of people are bracing right now. Lots of people very nervous that there may be a massacre unleashed on the people of Syria. Others may have hope because there's some word that maybe Assad is looking to broker some sort of exit deal. What do you think's actually happening?
Well, Jackie, first place, I'm not on the ground, so my analysis is, limited by secondary data. But you said that some people are bracing because they are worried a massacre may be happening. A massacre has been happening in Syria for the past 17 months. So there is an ongoing massacre. Every day is a massacre for the children in Syria. I think, the Washington Post editorial board had an editorial yesterday which basically said diplomacy's dead. Right. Now's the time for action. The time for action was a long time ago, but I don't see how the U.S. or Canada or any of the friends of Syria can continue to pursue diplomacy that's only benefiting Putin and Assad at the moment.
Well, let's ask Walter Dorn what he makes of the latest developments. They are significant. We also should tell you that there are also reports that some of Assad's officials have been fleeing the country, looking to defect or exit. So Walter Dorn's in our studio now. You just got back from the UN, I understand.
Right, yeah.
So was there talk at the time you were there of Assad looking for an exit plan, or is this a very late development given he's lost 4 of his top officials?
I started to hear about that about a day ago,
yeah.
that the Russians were circulating that. Subsequently, Syria denied it, but that would be expected until it actually happened. And the Russians then soft-pedaled it. So it's in the air. I think it's being played as one of the possibilities. And right now, the Syrian regime is backed in a corner. They're being hit very close to home. And so they're tense, and there is a lot of concern that they could go either way. It could be becoming more aggressive or becoming more passive and deciding to look for the exit.
Right. One specific concern, Walter, I'll ask you as well, is the chemical weapons. Yeah. We don't know where they are. They were moved recently. There was some evidence of that. Yeah. But the greatest fear is that these will be used as a negotiation tool.
I doubt it. Chemical weapons are not militarily useful. They affect the people that want to deploy them. I can see very limited case for chemical weapons use, and it would certainly turn the world against the Syrian government far more than it is now.
But it is a reality, whether you choose to accept what power that has. The reality is they are there, and they are a concern, specifically for the Israelis, right?
Syria is one of the few countries that has not signed the Chemical Weapons Convention, a half-dozen countries.
Right.
And so they haven't been destroying their stockpiles, and they're there.
Lori, the fact that it seems, I think it's the Russian ambassador to France who is suggesting that Assad may be looking for some sort of deal. Maybe he goes to Russia. There are some other reports, reportedly, that Assad's wife already may be in Russia. Again, we don't know, but what do you make of some of the conversation that we're now hearing? Is it possible that there may be a very quick resolution to what's been a very long-standing and dreadful situation where thousands of people have lost their lives?
No, Jackie, there's going to be no quick resolution.
Why do you say that, Lori? Why not?
Because the slaughter that's gone on and the crimes against humanity that have happened have created such an enormous sense of injustice among the Syrian people that there's no quick fix for this sort of thing. Even if Assad does, if he goes to Russia, let's say, as you're suggesting, and the rumors are sort of circulating, back in April, President Obama announced an atrocity board and said that this was the first time in American history that American foreign policy would focus on the prevention of mass atrocities as an American national security interest and as a moral responsibility. There's been zero talk of that. In that atrocity board that's been put together with supposedly the best and the brightest, one of the key elements was that we would never allow impunity for war criminals. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights has already come out many times saying there can be no impunity for Assad. So if the U.S. brokers a deal with Putin where we allow Assad to go free and to not be held accountable for the war crimes that he's committed, the crimes against humanity, the purposeful military targeting of children as a weapon of war in this massacre that we've been seeing, where children are targeted for torture and rape and murder as a military tactic. If we allow Assad to go free, there is not going to be a short-term solution in Syria. Moreover, we're going to have the geopolitical ramifications of this very bad foreign policy for decades to come, like we saw in Bosnia. There's a chance, people are talking about the Sunni population, it could be radicalized. There's a chance, there was a chance, there may still be a chance to win the hearts and minds of the Sunni population, of the majority in Syria, of the Syrian people, who will be forever grateful for an American-led NATO intervention, like Kosovo.
Right.
You know, I was in Kosovo, and people would come up to me on the street and say, I'm so grateful to meet an American. I mean, it's the only place in the world people are happy to meet an American,
Lori
practically,
Handrahan, we have
because
to end
of
it
what
there.
we did.
Lori, I apologize.
Sure.
We're out of time. Walter Dorn's been our guest as well. It's very complex. We hope you'll come back and we can have some more time.
Thank you
both.